All right, everyone. Hunter Biden was serving on the board of yet another firm, and of course, if you're in business, that's not necessarily a strange thing. But you'll never guess what country the firm is backed by. Oh, that's right, it's China. So first, he's working with Ukrainians, then with the Chinese. There is no conflict of interest here. It's totally normal. The problem I have is this. Biden, as a former VP, is still under Secret Service protection, still has, intimate knowledge of things that could be top secret, and yet his son is working, indirectly for China. I have a problem with that. I think there should be some stringency potentially involved with that situation. But anyway, Trump had been attacking Hunter Biden. And by the way, watching the neocons have like meltdowns and ramble about my children. Oh, children are off limits, don't attack them. Well, Trump's children are attacked constantly. Hunter Biden is, not necessarily a political, but definitely a business figure. Perfectly, and an adult, by the way, perfect fodder for, political attacks. I would think it's a conflict of interest. It's interesting because when his dad was VP, it was a total coincidence that he happened to be, working in Ukraine at the time with this particular company that was directly embroiled in a diplomatic issue. That's a total coincidence. If China were involved in some weird dealings right now in the Democratic Party, I'm sure that would be a coincidence too, that Hunter Biden had been working with this firm. But he's sworn also, he came out and he said, well, if my dad is elected, which is like at this point a laughable proposal, Biden's not going to be elected to the presidency. If he's elected, then I won't sit on any foreign-backed firms' boards or anything. I'll stop doing that. Maybe here's a proposal. Maybe you should work for a U.S. firm that's based in the U.S. and not backed by a communist nation or something. Maybe you should try working for the good guys for a change. Oh, wait, your dad's Joe Biden. Could be why. I think it's funny, though. It was great because the Democrats are basically throwing Biden under the bus, and yet he's still the front runner. By a point, he's managed to tick just ahead of Warren again. Like she lost a point, he gained a point, and so he's technically now the front runner again. The Democratic frontrunner is a geriatric dude with so many conflicts of interest that it would sink the ship of state if he were actually elected. He can't win. You've got to understand, Joe Biden is not capable rhetorically of dealing with Donald Trump. Just in the situation where you get him and Trump in the same room for an hour-long debate, Trump is going to run rings around the dude. Trump, one of the big things that scares people, at least if they're partisan, about Trump has been, at some points, and this is true, his incoherence. I call it more his inability to follow through. Sometimes, I stopped watching his speeches mostly. Not because the things that he's saying aren't okay, but he could always follow through and hit so much harder. There are so many times when I'm like, Donald, you insert two more words and you just had a real a winner and you flubbed it again. He does this every time he speaks. It does bother me as someone who notices language because of my interest in linguistics. That being said, though, if you put him against Joe Biden, Trump no longer looks incoherent. That's going to be a big problem for the Democrats if they lose that particular selling point. If they lose the crazy Donald selling point, they're fucked, basically. That's why Joe Biden won't be our president. Even if he's nominated, he'll lose. Warren, it's like she's got at least a chance in hell. A snowball's chance in hell might be small, but at least it's there. Biden, literally, his chance would be non-existent. I think the same would be true at this point of dying Bernie. No offense to those of you out there, I know a decreasing number probably who are Bernie Sanders fans, but what do you want me to tell you, dude? He's going to drop off the face of the earth in polling pretty soon. He'll probably be at like 10 points. That'll be his core fan base. He's getting Kamala. Maybe Buttigieg now. He'll peak and then he'll fall off a cliff too, and it'll be Warren 2020. That'd be a funny time. Hunter Biden shouldn't be serving on this firm to begin with. His dad is the former VP. He's running for the presidency. He waits until Trump brings up the issue to quit the position. And how much money were you making? How much money were you getting from the G-coms over there? It's very, very funny times. It's funny how China, which is communistic and supposedly antagonistic towards Western interests, has money invested in every U.S. firm. It's also very funny how these totally American firms bend before Chinese censorship at the slightest hint of something going wrong. Blizzard comes out and puts yet more kerosene on the dumpster fire by saying, okay, we're sorry that we punished this whatever game it is, a player for saying free Hong Kong, we're going to reinstate his prize money and cut his sentence in half. Like he had been banned for a year or something. They cut that in half. It's like you shouldn't punish him at all. What's the fucking problem? So, doesn't really help. Meanwhile, notably, Apple fans not boycotting Apple. It's because they're addicted. I think they must put soy additives in the plastic casing of all their cheap as fuck whatever products, and it gets them addicted, literally speaking. They have to get their Soylent at night or they can't sleep. They get insomnia. That's about all. Peace out.